Alright, well, that was annoying. So, right up here, my camera tells me how much time I have left, or I should say how much time capacity I have on my storage medium, and how long my video is gone, and the size of my video. Two things. One, it said I still had 4 minutes left. Well, that's total capacity of the storage medium. That's not the maximum file size for the individual file. Two, I'm recording apparently in 1080p. I did not intend to do that. I intended to do 720p, so I would have been able to have gotten the whole thing in one video had I done that simple thing. So I am sorry that this has gone into two different video files. There's not much I can do about it though. So why not get right back into this? Okay, so I've got my multimeter here, and one of the reasons I bought this particular meter is because it does register capacitance. It's not very useful, unfortunately, because as you can see, it only goes from the 2 nanofarad range to the 20 microfarad range. And a lot of times you need to register picofarads, which can still be done, because a picofarad is only 1/1000th of a nanofarad, so it'll still register. But sometimes you also need to go above 20 microfarads. Now that said, the 20 microfarad and larger usually have the microfarads stamped on them, so you can easily identify what they should be. So first off, okay, well there's an example. Just simply holding the lead. If I touch it, you see that capacitance go up. Touch the leads together, maximum capacitance. As I get them closer together, the capacitance increases. So, yeah, there's that. So what I'm basically showing there is you don't want to actually physically touch the plates. Now this is how far I got. Right after the video stopped on me, I finished up with the handles. And it has to be wiggled a little bit to get it to come out, and you don't want to bring it all the way out, of course, because putting it back together can be a pain in the neck. So you can bring it out to where the corners are still interleaved, and then you can push it back in together. Now I'm going to use regular clothespins to hold the leads together. And we will see what kind of capacitances we can get with our homemade variable capacitor. As soon as I get this stuff to behave. It would almost be easier just to wrap it around the lead, but... Alright, so fully pushed together, we have just under 400 picofarads. Now, why is that important? Well, you can see here that a commercially available one and the AM/FM radios goes up to 200 picofarad. The one I was using in the videos I've done up to now with my crystal radio only goes up to 180 picofarad. This one goes up to double that. 360 almost. If I wedge it even closer together, alright, well, what if I really want to get creative? See, the closer together you get these things, the more capacitance you get. course, now I don't want to come apart, so I'm going to take that clamp back off. And of course, if you completely remove it, you get basically zero capacitance. So right there, I've got the full range. Granted, I'll have to be careful with this, but I can bring it down to just below 40 picofarad, which is the lowest I can get the commercially made ones to go. And I can push it together and get almost double their maximum value. So if one of these is useful, this is really useful. Now here's the problem. Let's say with a 40 to 200 picofarad capacitor, you can tune a range of 600 to 800 kilohertz with a given coil. The problem is now instead of 600 to 800, you'll be tuning 600 to maybe 1200 or 600 to maybe 1600, depending on the coil and depending on how that logarithmic curve goes, if it is even logarithmic. I'm not even sure of that. It may be linear. Regardless, if you don't want to tear up a radio and you don't have a couple of bucks to buy one and wait 3 months for it to arrive from China on eBay or Amazon, you can, using stuff just laying around your house, make your own. So I have used a little bit of plastic, which really I didn't have to use this. I could have used cardstock as a spacer. But I used that little bit of plastic that I got from one of my kids' toys packaging. I used the aluminum pie pan from a Papa John's cinnamon pull-aparts dessert. I used some masking tape. I used some regular cardboard. And you'll notice the ribs on the cardboard go the same direction as the way the force will be applied. And I did that on purpose so that it would add strength. Okay? And I used a couple of wires out of an old Ethernet cable. That's it. And now I have a device with which I can tune a radio. So that's pretty much it. You know, I've added 7.5 minutes to the overall length of the two videos together. But my next video, I'm going to put this to use. So keep your eyes open for that, and I'll be sure to have that up in a day or two. Just a quick note, because these are stranded Ethernet cable wires, I'm going to have to solder them. I'm going to add solder to the tip. It's called tinning them. But I'm going to tin the wires so that they will be rigid enough to insert into the breadboard without fraying them. If you don't have a soldering iron, you can just simply twist the wires together very, 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 very tightly. And there may be a myriad ways you can do that. But the tighter together you can twist them, the more rigid they'll be, and the easier they'll be to get into the breadboard without them fraying. They're still going to fray eventually, but you can get a couple of uses out of them this way. But I'm going to go ahead and tin these before I use them. And then after I get everything hooked up, I can go ahead and do that video for you guys, and you'll see how effective this can be. Until then, I'm CJ, your local friendly technology addict, signing off.